Alright, so this is going to be a test on how much of an impact the changes really have. We're gonna start off with the Withermine change. So let's have a look how visible it is. To be honest, that looks honestly quite nice. It like charges up. This is the first time I see this animation. I think it's actually pretty cool. I thought it was just a red laser immediately, but no, like it charges up. So honestly, that is a pretty cool change, I think. Like if you get a bunch more zealot, like I think the visibility makes sense there. If we get like a bunch of zealots, they run into widow mines. Like this. You can now like see which zealots are targeted. But it's actually not that easy if you have like many zealots. So like it's not like now the Protoss can easily dodge the Withermine shots. So just looking at that, I think it looked quite nice. Let's take a look at it one more time. So that really looks like a nice change. Now the next change is the Withermine splash. So I prepared a little base over here. And I do a 3 Withermine drop. I'm not going to micro the probes. Before the patch, I could wipe out the entire mineral line. Oh wait, there's a couple too many. I could wipe out like every probe except maybe 2 if I target right. So let's see how it works now. We're gonna target like this. And yeah, you can tell it has an impact for sure. I also don't think this change is too bad. It got reduced from 7.2. We can do it one more time. It got reduced from 7.5 or 1.75 to 1.5. We can do it one more time. Let's actually do a little trick. So this quick guide, if you I hotkey this now, I load in, and now if I unload, they're part of my control group. So then I can fly in, unload, and immediately borrow them. Now we're gonna target again. Yeah, I definitely think in the patch before, like now I get 9 probes. In the patch before, we can get like 10 probes at least. So there's a difference. And for sure, the Withermines don't deal as much damage anymore in that regard. So these 2 changes alone are definitely good, I think. One change that I don't like, by the way, if we keep on talking about the Withermine. So now if you get an armory, they're not permanently cloaked. So I think this is already like a pretty good change for like the Withermine thing. Like you drop and lose entire probe line. Like they get a notification. You can see it makes a difference. Like look at this again. Like I drop into an exposed mineral line, I retarget, and actually don't get many workers. Like I only kill 9 here. And then on top of that, they are now visible if you get an armory. I honestly think that might be a little bit overkill. Because that's a huge part of like the mid game in TvP. In the mid game of TvP, you put Withermines like in places to scout and spot zealot run-bys. So I think they might be going a little bit, and that as well with the splash, by the way, because now zealots, they take less splash as well. And the fact that now the armory is cheaper, and the upgrades for the bio are cheaper. I honestly think this might go in a direction where Withermines are actually not being used anymore. Except for the first Withermine drop. Like, I can see myself not making Withermines in the mid-game anymore, to be honest with you. Unless I go up against, like, like, the Phoenix, Zealot, Charge or whatever. But usually they go Colossus. So I think this might be too much, honestly. I think the change with the splash and the notification when they burrow, they get like, oh, your probes are under attack. And the fact that you can now clearly see what target they choose. Like look at this. If I retarget, you can like clearly see what they target. I think this would already be enough. I don't understand why they also make it so they are visible after the armory. Of course the armory is cheaper now, so they have to compensate for that. But honestly, why would you make the armory cheaper in that regard? Like I don't understand. Why would you make the armory cheaper? I don't really see the point of that. Like, they could have just stuck with that, you know, the same price for the armory. So 100 gas. And then they are still cloaked. I think that would be maybe better. If they want to buff mech, they could also combine upgrades again or something. Like air weapons and ground weapons, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. So that's for the HeroMarine. So now let's move over to another interesting change. The feedback rapid fire. And we're gonna show you. So if the Terran doesn't pay attention, this is what it looks like. You can just rapid fire. And you couldn't do that before. Well, in this case, I have to do it a little bit different. I made a mistake. Because the ghosts all were full energy, so they all get one-shotted. Let's do it again, because the change makes it so you can't, like, look at this. I want to feedback this ghost. I can't feedback it anymore. Only if it gains 1 energy. And you can see it takes a couple seconds. So, if we do that over again, and we get a bunch of High Templars. And we now feedback. Well, they don't have full energy. Can I do that in this map? No, doesn't work like that. Anyways, now I can rapid fire feedback, which is against Ghost very good if they don't pay attention. Of course, I could just EMP. But now we go into the second change, and that is the Raven. And the Raven change, in order to demonstrate that. So the Raven change is the same thing like you just saw with the High Templars. However, the main difference is High Templars are now insanely good against Ravens. Like, insanely good. Like, you can easily just, like, rapid fire this, no problem. So they are, like, significantly stronger in, like, feedbacking the Ravens. So even without rapid fire feedback, and you get in return the Matrix rapid fire. So, like, now the same thing goes for the Terran. I think the feedback rapid fire is more significant. And I think it also, like, outweighs the rapid fire for the Ravens. I think it's nice to have, like, this sort of mechanic where, like, I can spam click, especially against, like, something like carriers. Like, if they go into, like, 15 carriers and they approach your army. Oh, wait, I need to first set the rapid fire hotkey, actually. Let me do that quickly. Oh, standard. My hotkeys are bugged again. I don't know why it does that. But, what the hell? They weren't selecting the right... What the hell is now going on? Okay, BattleNet bugs, I guess. Cancel. Hotkeys. I can't change my hotkeys. If I select this, okay, now it works. Perfect. See, that's my hotkey for the Matrix. So if I now Matrix the carriers, I can do this, and like I just spam click. Very good.
Not enough energy.
Oh, not wait. Did that work properly? Did that just work properly, or let me do it with 1 carrier? Hold on! Why can't I already... Okay, it isn't like as easy as I thought. It's disabled. Why can't I disable it again? This is not even as good as I thought. I don't know if this is a bug. Anyways, this is obviously a nice feature. Yeah, it's only 1 second disabled, which is actually not that good, because if you have like 15 carriers and you were trying to disable them, it works. But the point that I'm trying to make, this is a nice change. Like, yeah, of course, it's like, in theory, a nice change. But then, High Templar feedback just counters it. Like, you can just feedback the Ravens. Before I can approach, he can just feedback. I don't have feedback on rapid fire anymore. So I think the feedback is stronger than the Matrix. And therefore, in a real game, I will probably not even be able to use it. Also in a real game, they have like a bunch of disruptors stacked up. So sometimes they are like under stalkers or other units, or they just run away. So I think the feedback is just stronger in that regard. And one more thing I really want to emphasize. I think I mentioned that in the last video. I am not a fan of rapid fire. I think a rapid fire is something that should not be in the game. Especially because if you start off with the game like as a noob, you don't know about these things. You don't know about like setting your repeat rate high. You don't know about like rapid fire where you can just hold down a button and spam a billion auto turrets. I think rapid fire is not something that should be in the game. And you can tell like pros are like patching the game or making these changes because they are the only ones to think of. I think it is stupid that all you have to do, especially like with the ghosts as well, like where is the skill? Like if I have like look at this difference just quickly. So if I have like a bunch of brute lords against like mass ghosts. So this is the fight with rapid fire. This is with rapid fire. So I just hold down the button for snipe and I just rapid fire. This is with. I might lose because there's a lot of brute lords, but no, it looks okay. It doesn't matter if I lose or win. In this case, I win. This is just, I'm just hovering my mouse and I'm holding down a button. I'm not actually clicking, I'm just holding down a button and hovering my mouse. And this is without rapid fire. So if I unbound that hotkey, if you want to know more about rapid fire, leave a comment. I might make a video then on it. And now we do the same thing, the exact same fight, but without rapid fire. And now look at how different it is. I'm not actually a very fast clicker in that regard. I'm gonna try my best, but like the difference is gonna be absolutely insane. Like, you already see it. I'm not doing a good job, but like look at how bad this is. So rapid fire is like a game changer, and that is why they're trying to make it more usable for other purposes as well. But in my opinion, it just shouldn't be in the game. It makes certain things like harder to balance, in my opinion, and especially for like beginners that don't know about it, because it's like a setting that you need to learn about. I think it shouldn't be there. And they are trying to make it more usable. I don't like it. The same thing goes with like rapid fire warp-ins. So if you like have like a bunch of warp gates and you warp in like the same way like 15 zealots by just hovering your mouse and holding down a button, I do not like this. I also don't like that like Zerg just holds down a button and can make with a high repeat like a billion Zerglings at once. That's something I can sort of get behind, because if they had to click for the Zerglings, but then if I also had to click for the snipes, it would sort of compensate for that. And I just think that would make the game better in that regard. For sure, yeah. But that's just my opinion. That's something we can discuss, so leave a comment if you want to have more discussion on that. So overall, the rave. Oh, let's go for the. Let's first take a look at the cyclone. So the cyclone got changed as well. I have no idea what to make out of it. So let's have a quick test. So we have 14 cyclones, or let's do 10 cyclones against 12 stalkers. Without blink, no upgrades, just A move. See what happens. We're not gonna micro, it doesn't matter. We just wanna see who wins. Basically.
So much, sir. Jorgen from Norway.
Oh, sorry, my sound didn't function there. Got a donation mid-video. The Cyclones won. That's good, yeah. But also the Stalkers did not have blink. Let's do this one more time, but this time I'm gonna like fight properly. So we're gonna like dive in with the Cyclones. I think that might be better. And now they lose pretty hard, so it's not better. And now we have a look at blink stalkers. So we get blink, we get like 2 more stalkers, 2 more cyclones. And now let's have a look at this. So as you can see, oh, the probes are helping because I attacked with them. So as you can see, this is not good. For early game, I like this, but early game cyclones, they seem to be a lot weaker, like a lot. I can just blink back easily, and the stalkers win that fight super easily, like actually super easily. I don't even use a warp prism or anything like that. So this is not good. This is something I really don't like to see. But there's a reason for that, and that is to scale better in the late game. So for the last thing, we're gonna get all the upgrades, and we're gonna see how the Cyclone trades against every single unit, except the Immortal maybe. The Immortal may be all too powerful because it's the counter. So we're gonna have a look at the Cyclone versus Zealot, Stalkers, like Colossus and Carriers, and we see how it goes. So let's first do the Stalker. So we're gonna max out on 3 Cyclones. We're gonna do like 150 supply, and we're gonna do 150 supply Stalkers. So now the Cyclones should wreck everything, correct?
Our allies are being attacked.
I'm not gonna micro, I'm just gonna move in with the Cyclones. And now they should destroy. There's too many Stalkers to micro. This is just to see like how good they trade, and they actually destroy. The Stalkers have 3/3 as well in this case. So that was a good test. Let's do 75 Zealots next. Of course the Zealots are much cheaper, but this isn't about like who wins this fight, this is how it feels like. And in this case, how good do the Zealots feel? Honestly, not that good. This is also a fine trade. So yes, they scale better so far. Colossus. We're gonna get 30 Colossus, oh god. We're gonna get 24 Colossus. Or let's do 25. 25 Colossus. Actually 25 because there's 2 probes in my army supply. Let's see. We're gonna dive in. And yes, the Cyclones win. Sick. And now, the most interesting, the Carriers. Because if they win against Carriers as well, then this change might not be that bad after all. This is 25 Carriers now. We're gonna stack them up. And then we're gonna go in. And we're also gonna dive in with the Cyclones. That looks good. The Cyclones are stronger in late game. Let's do Immortals as well, just to show you that they aren't gonna win. Where are they? Immortals. Let's get one last. 37. Last 5. So of course against the Immortals we get wrecked. So there's a counter. So, what does it mean? Cyclone actually scales a lot better in the late game. Maybe a little bit too well. And in the early game, it seems too weak, in my opinion, maybe. I don't know. This is something... seems like a good change. I mean, that's exactly what they said. They want to make it better, like scale better with the upgrades. It does. And they may want to make it better or weaker in the early game. Because apparently it's so powerful in the early game. Which I can understand, because there's also a TVT change. And in TVT, the Cyclone is like the most annoying unit nowadays. So they did exactly what they wanted. I'm not sure if it's like the right level. Like maybe now the Cyclone is too strong in the late game. And too weak in the early game against Protoss. I'm not gonna go very deep into TVZ. Because I don't think it's necessary. Like, in TVZ, I think I have to test it like with games on the new patch. That's something we're gonna see as soon as the patch happens. I could maybe even set up some custom games. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I think that is about it for the new patch review. So let's quickly summarize once more the changes for TVP in particular. Wouldn't change. Good visibility. So what do I give a thumbs up? Well, visibility, yes, good change. Reducing splash, yeah, I mean, why not, okay. Removing or giving it an alert when it bursts, like next to your probes or something. Good, yeah, good. The fact that it loses like that it's not cloaked anymore after the armory, I think that's not a good change. I don't like that. I think it's too much. I think it makes the Wooder Mine probably too weak, especially because bio upgrades are like cheaper. So I think I'm gonna play more bio heavy instead of Wooder Mine heavy, if any Wooder Mines actually. I might actually cut some Wooder Mines now. We'll see about that. The feedback change with rapid fire and the Raven change with rapid fire, I think I've talked about that in detail. If you want to have a more detailed video on that, let me know. Why rapid fire should be removed from StarCraft. I'm against it personally, but that's just my opinion. I just hate it because I think it is a skill to like click things and not to just hold down a button and hover, you know. I think that is not how it should be, especially because that makes things like hard to balance. I want to have a more mechanical game in that regard. Like people, for example, they always say Brood War StarCraft 1 is harder than StarCraft 2. No, it's actually not harder, I think. Because in StarCraft 2, people play way too perfect. In Brood War, they don't play perfect. In Brood War, they mess up so much because it's like higher skill ceiling, of course. But like if you like take a look at how much, like, well, I don't really follow it that much, but if you take a look at how many mistakes like the top level StarCraft players, like StarCraft 2 players make, they make like 0 mistakes. If you take a look at the top level Brood War players, technically it's a harder game, but also at the top level they don't play perfect because it's like impossible to play perfect because the game mechanics are so rough basically. So I like more rough game mechanics. I don't want it to be like too yeah, MOBA like, you know, like I don't I feel like that's yeah, I just don't like the fact that you can hold down a button and that takes away the fact that you have to click or something. I just don't like that. So if you want to have a more detailed video on that, let me know. And then finally, the Cyclone. I think I've said enough about that. Happy to upload another YouTube video. Nice comments in the last one. Keep it up, and maybe we're gonna see more in the future. So thanks for watching, and I'm sure talk to you again about the new patch. See you then.